Howdy folks, Matt here with Gulf Coast Fit. This is a very rare take two. I usually don't like to give things a second try or edit anything. So I'm going to try to make this speedy and efficient. Today we're running through an upper body workout with the one and only Andrea, who is so kind as to grace us with her presence. Doesn't happen very often anymore, so very excited for that. We're doing Andrea's upper body session today. She's on a 3-day, 3-session program each week: upper body, lower body, full body. Today's upper body entails 3 supersets. So we're coupling together 3 pairs of exercises. The first superset is a manual assisted parallel bar dip. You don't have to have parallel bars or a jungle gym at home to do this. You can find a couple of chairs, a couple of stools, a couple of counters, anything you can push on that's stable enough to hold most of your body weight. We'll be coupling the parallel bar dips with upright rows. So you'll see here on this first superset, we're pushing down for our pushing, and then we're pulling up, kind of a vertical push-pull antagonistic type of superset. So without further ado, let's mosey right over here to the dip bars. We're going to run you through anywhere between 6 to 10 reps. This depends on your strength and your ability to adhere to keeping this as strict as possible and making yourself only apply as much pressure or as little pressure as necessary for these manual assisted dips. So we'll hop on in here. The key here is that Andrea is using her legs to assist, starting at the top, and to go ahead and descend into a very deep, full range of motion. Shoulder medicine, always be sure to do a full range of motion for what your anatomy is capable of. And you know you can because you've got the legs to help you out. She's only pushing as much as she needs to help budge herself, which is not a lot of pressure. She could probably do a few dips with no assistance. So let's get between 8 and 10 here. Let's go 2 more reps. Squeeze the shoulder blades on the way down. It's about engaging the lower chest, a lot of triceps, a lot of anterior delts, of course. All right, great. So 6 to 10, but 8 to 10 is really the money spot there. If you can't do at least 6, you need to apply a little bit more pressure. You get to 10 and you could have kept going. You were applying too much pressure with your legs. So we'll now hit the opposite motion here with our vertical pulling exercise, which is a band/kettlebell upright row. I like to use a band with an implement such as a kettlebell to use as a handle, and I'll tell you why once Andrea starts. Let's hop up here, grab the bands down about 6 inches from the weight. All right, go on, stand up with it. This is an upright row to address the shoulders, upper back, a little bit of biceps, a little bit of forearms. So higher volume can be appropriate for this. We'll go 12 to 15 reps. I like using the band because when something is stretching, it's a little bit ballistic like this setup we've got here, you've got to take it slow and controlled. You can't just whip it up. It's going to spring around on you. So keeping constant tension in the band can only really happen if you've got a controlled positive and negative. And I like how that keeps you in check. Let's get a couple more now. Oh yeah. Things should really be slowing down by the end of each set on each exercise. All right, let's go and drop it on down. So we didn't quite hit failure, but we sure were slowing down a bit. And so when you're coming to the completion of any strength-based resistance training exercise, you should either be slowing down quite a bit or hit technical failure where you had to stop because things were getting a little too sloppy or the range of motion was just shortening up too much, or hit absolute failure where you could not keep moving the weight, you couldn't do any more reps, even if the form was still clean. And to get one of those 3 for a set to be an effective training stimulus. We're going to head right back into the manual assisted dips. Let's go for the lower end of the range here. Use less assistance for 6 reps. Yeah, I can see her feet just barely even touching the ground, almost floating up off of the ground, which means she is doing a great job of minimizing the use of her lower extremities. Let's get 2 more. Yeah. Big breath. Squeeze the scats. Push through it. Push through it. Push through it. All right. Excellent. Now, 2 to 3 rounds of each superset is Great. We're running through 2 rounds of each superset today. So here's the bottom of our second round with these upright rows. Andrea's good and warmed up, and we go right into these supersets, right into a hard working set without a warm-up set. So 3 rounds might be necessary if you want to feel the movement out, if you're not used to the movement and you need to do kind of a trial set before doing a second and third harder working set. But today, we're busting out 2 hard sets of each superset. Elbows up, shoulders back. A lot of muscles working here. Think about the upper traps, front delts, middle delts, and rear delts. I love that about upright rows. Biceps and forearms. And 12 to 15 reps is good. Up.
At 9.
At 9. Here we're going to speed them up a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of body English and do 3 cheat reps to get to 12. See how she's just rocking a little bit into it. That's okay if it's controlled and it's intentional and under control. There we go. So we got to 9, and she was pretty much hitting failure. But to hit our rep range and to extend the work capacity, we just added a little bit of body English into it, a little bit of controlled sway. That can be a very powerful training stimulus and an intensity technique. So let's move right along to our second superset. Here you'll see with our big band and our kind of big band, we've got ourselves rigged up on this pull-up bar here. Then you don't have to have a pull-up bar or jungle gym. Figure out how to rig your bands up against anything up above your head. It could be a door frame even if you're inside. It could be a tree, a basketball goal, a railing, anything. Get creative. You can figure it out. It's not rocket science. It's just exercise science. So this is a seated lat pull down that we'll be coupling with a face pull. We've actually got 2 pulling exercises on deck here, and that's okay because they're 2 very different pulling exercises. So Andrea is going to sit down on the ground here. Going to use these bands like handles. Hold on to each loop. There should already be tension in the bands. We'll try to sit up tall with legs straight out in front. All right, let's scooch up a little bit closer. All right, we can always scoot back to make it harder with more band tension. All right, just like a pull-up or a lat pull-down machine on a cable stack. Going to pull downward, tucking the elbows in, pulling the shoulder blades down and back. There we go. Let's keep your eyes up on the anchor here. 8 to 12 reps for a conventionally based target volume. There's 4. Big protraction and elevation of the scapulas. Tuck the scaps down and back. Squeeze. Flex the lats. Flex the rear delts. Flex the biceps. Yep. Let's do 2 more. With a big squeeze at the bottom. Big pause, rep at the bottom. Slow on the way up. 1 more. Big squeeze and pause. Slow to finish. All right, next round I'm going to pick on her and add one of these smaller bands into the mix. Make it a lot harder to hit our target rep range. Come on up. And now we've got a banded face pull. So we're going to use some of our smaller bands here. See you through our rig here. I think it'll be just fine. Now I've quadrupled up the smallest band in our repertoire, which will be perfect. Remember that when it comes to using bands, big advantage is that you can double, triple, quadruple bands up as needed to give yourself the range of motion and the desired tension you need for whatever your exercise is. We're going to scoot back, so we've already got arms extended, tension in the band, bend the knees a little bit, and we'll execute this W-shaped pull. There we go. Notice how she flashes the palms up, straight arms, bent elbows. A lot of external shoulder rotation. I typically like to do medium-high volume on face pulls, 12 minimum, but as long as you're controlled, you could do as little as 8 reps, but we're going to shoot for the 12 to 15 range again on this. We're not leaning back too much here. Pick on her and keep it strict. Come on.
11.
11. Let's get 1 more. We kept it strict. Didn't turn that into a cheat set as of now. It is a challenging endeavor to couple two pulling exercises, albeit two different planes of motion. We've got a vertical downward pulling exercise with the seated lat pull down for a more lat dominant exercise. And then we've got the standing, more horizontally based face pull with a lot of external shoulder rotation. That's more for the upper back. So the back is a very intricate system of muscles, operates in all kinds of directions with all kinds of synergy based on what you're trying to accomplish. So even though this is two pulling exercises, they're vastly different. Different enough to superset them together and not be counterproductive. Tuck those elbows down and back. Big lat squeeze. 5, 7, 8. I want to make sure 12 is all that she needs. So on our last 3 reps, we're going to hold a big pause. Here we come down and hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now slow negative, big reach, big stretch. Pull down hard and fast. Squeeze it down, eyes up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now slow, controlled, negative. We've got one more. Pull those elbows down. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. She's shaking a lot. Maybe you can't tell, but we're twitching. And slowly return it, slowly return it. All right. There I was intentionally making 12 reps the end of the set, whereas if she was continuing to move along at a little quicker pace, maybe she would have got 14 or 15. But we like to turn the dials and adjust things as we go to expose our body, our muscles, our mindset, our nervous system to a wide variety of stimuli. All right, palms down, going right back into our face pulls here. Bend the knees a little bit. Try to keep the torso as vertical as possible. Try not to lean back more and more as you go. Very rarely do I start to do cheat reps on face pulls. I like to keep them good and strict. How many?
9.
Let's get 12 again. 10. And that's because if you get a little funky on a face pull, risk of injury is heightened because of the external rotation and the emphasis on small, weak muscles in your rotator cuff. So, great, moving right along. I'm going to take you inside with us.
It's here at the underground.
Here we go, the TA Underground, where we will be combining an overhead press variation. That's a seated Arnold press with a single arm dumbbell row. And here I'm going to show you how you can make do when you don't have a full rack of dumbbells. So we're going to start in a seated position. Now maybe you don't have an incline bench, an adjustable bench. We're going to go ahead and make it a vertical press today so that you could hypothetically use a normal chair or even just a stool and sit up straight, even if you don't have something to lean back against. We're going to use these 10s, which is not super hard work for Andrea, but we're going to make the tempo such that it will be a substantially more challenging weight than it would be if we were just moving the weights quickly. So to start an Arnold press, we'll bicep curl the dumbbells up to your shoulders. That's our starting position. Now we're going to go slow motion in both directions. All right, we're going to come up slowly for 4, 3, 2, 1. Big shrug and right back down. 4, 3, 2, 1. No stopping. Right back up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Full lockout and right back down. 4, 3, 2, 1. So keep thinking. 4 seconds up, 4 seconds down. It's about an 8-second rep. No stopping at the top, no pausing at the bottom. We're always in motion, albeit slowly. And this slow, controlled tempo, honestly, especially on the positive, because for most pressing exercises, we're used to pressing explosively, quickly, getting the work done fast, and then maybe doing a slow, controlled negative. When you switch things up on your muscle fibers and do something like a slow positive, it's kind of a shock to the system, and all of a sudden these 10s feel like some big old 11 and a half. or 20s. Let's do one more. See how much we're slowing down? But we're still budging. We're still budging. Yeah, that's what we like the end of a set to look like. Slowly down. Slow, slow, slow. All right, great. Let's keep one of those dumbbells with us. I'm going to grab a band real quick. And here, we're going to show you how. Let's say you're at home and you've only got dumbbells that go up 10, 15 pounds, when really you need a set that goes up to 50, 75, 250 pounds. But we'll show you an intensity technique to make this single arm dumbbell row more effective, but you will need a band. So what we'll do is put this band on the dumbbell like such, so you can still hold the band in the middle, and then we'll step on this. So let's swing right over here. Put your foot through the band. One foot through the band facing the bench. One hand on the bench. So the same foot in the band is the arm that you're rowing with. Other hand on the bench. Let's make a big tripod with your body actually. There we go. Alright, back's nice and flat. You're going to row that weight up like a typical standard single arm dumbbell row. Now with the band resistance, we probably, with this band, probably have 15 more pounds by the time you get to the top of the row. There's 5. We're going to make this our highest volume exercise of the day. Take it to at least 15 reps. There's 8. It's an appropriate exercise when things really slow down to start to use a little bit of momentum. Let's get that elbow back. Yeah, pull it back. Start to use a little bit of your body English now. Yeah, little rotation. Pull it up. Yeah, how many?
14.
14. Let's get 15. There we go. All right, switch your feet, switch your hands. Very simple and effective way to make a weight that might be too light to get a hard, heavy set of dumbbell rows, because this is a strong exercise. But when you add a band into the mix, slow down a little bit. Come up, squeeze, and control, yeah. When you add a band into the mix, the peak contractions amplified, making every rep that much more effective. How many?
10.
5 more. You got a little bit of momentum. 3 more. All right, sweet. Let's take that band off and we'll sit you up front here for our next set of Arnold presses. Now, we're going to pick on our trainee even more so by keeping the bench flat so she's got nothing to lean against, forcing her to use her spinal erectors and the rest of her core to stay erect and vertical, stable. So let's start at the top of our beginning position. Let's go 3 seconds each direction now. So a little give and take. 3 seconds up. Tempo's a little faster and a little friendlier, still slower than a standard tempo, but we've got no backrest, which presents a much greater challenge for your entire trunk to stabilize. Sure is helpful when you've got something to lean back on, but folks at home might not have an adjustable bench like I said. Doesn't mean you can't do a nice set of very challenging Arnold presses. If we were not doing a slow motion set, Andrew would be using 15s, possibly 20s with the backrest. Slowing the tempo down makes a big difference. Let's get at least 10 here. How many?
9.
9. 2 more. 1 more. Keep it slow. Oh yeah, slow down. Slow down. All right, we'll cut it there. Excellent. Stand up. There we go. Remember, the band is on the same side, same foot as the arm that you're rowing with. Back's nice and flat. Last set of the day. Let's make it a high volume set. We've got an extra special surprise in the mix here. We're going to use 2 intensity techniques to prolong the set and really gas out this movement pattern. Alright, start to use a little bit of body momentum now. So this is a cheat rep now. Adding more momentum in. And what I'm going to do is remove the band here in a couple reps. See the range of motion shortening up, but voila, take this off, keep rowing, bust it out. Might be a little stricter than it was with the band on, but you'll see, we set her free from the band and we can get more work out of our target pulling muscles here. Got a big pause at the top. There we go. Bring it on down. So 5 more. But all in all, I'm going to got 10 more reps in, a little more volume with that 10-pounder. But pre-fatiguing with the band is the key here. If we did not pre-fatigue with the band, we might be rowing this all day. All right, follow. It's a good finishing touch on an exercise like this. Two intensity techniques, the band, and then getting rid of the band, which is a drop set. Getting rid of the band is just like swapping the weight out for a lighter weight and continuing to work. It's a different type of drop set. Still gives you the advantage that you're looking for to extend your work capacity to qualify as a drop set. 3 intensity techniques, because we're using the band. Then we do cheat reps, which helps you keep going a little bit more. Then we drop the band. 3 intensity techniques in one exercise. Quite the gym. Let's get a couple more. And you see she already went into her cheat reps for 5 to 7 reps. Get rid of the band. Keep it strict. When you get rid of the band, you don't need to use the cheat rep momentum anymore. You can go back to keeping it strict because of how much lighter and resistance weight is without the band. Squeeze it back a little higher. 3 more. All right, excellent. Nicely done. So that is a 3 superset upper body workout, and you'll notice there were only 2 pushing exercises, our dips and our Arnold presses. So 4 pulling exercises to 2 pressing exercises, that's a 2-to-1 ratio. And generally speaking, for overall health and balance, structural integrity, I personally recommend a 2-to-1 ratio in general, overall in your training. You got a lot more back muscles working together than you do muscles in the interior pressing. And typically what we see is people overdoing the pressing training component of their routine historically, and they're a little bit underdeveloped with all of the different variety of pulling exercises. So aim for a 2-to-1 ratio to maybe balance some inadequacies out in your training history, and for overall balance, posture, and structural integrity. So give that a go. If this is new to you, I'd recommend doing kind of a trial set or an initial test round of each exercise, making it 3 sets of each couplet. So have a great day. Stay strong. Thank you to our wonderful fitness model. Go get strong.